Welcome back to the event. Welcome back to the live stream. We will now show a short film called Dear Isaac, directed and produced by Joakim Eide. After this, we will have a conversation between Joakim Eide and Aleks Jelin-Gosto. Aleks Jelin-Gosto has produced and directed the film that will come after the conversation, which is called So Rude.
Dear Isaac, for as long as you can remember, you've always had this pain that's so deep but so out of place. This pain has shaped, molded you to be who you are. This pain has made you stay up at night. There have been times where you just wanted to give up. The times where you look in the mirror and you don't recognize who you are. This pain has made you. Sometimes devoured you, controlled you to make decisions that you never really wanted to make. I want you to know that I forgive you. I forgive your pain. You have spent so many years, most of your life, ignoring it, doing your best to survive. It's been heavy. It's not been easy for you. You have been hurting for so long that you don't know what anything else feels like. I understand that you are scared. Scared of confronting your pain. But it's time. It's long overdue. Here you are, finally and truly the man you are meant to be. You can now look in the mirror without disgust. You can look in the mirror and admire the kind man that you are. You have now given yourself permission to finally be as kind to yourself as you do to others. You never thought you were going to get here, anywhere else but here. Every time you open your eyes and stare at your reflection, you finally recognize yourself. Remember when you wrote, "I want to call this body home, but I don't know how." You have always been trying to come home, and now you are home. Welcome home. It will take some time, but you have the rest of your life to figure that part out. Thank you, Isaac, for getting us here.
Now we will have a conversation between the amazing
No, you
Joakim
can't have your hair
Eide
like
and
that.
Aleks
You look like a
Jelin-Gosto.
bull.
Please give them a big round of applause.
Why are you wearing those clothes?
Can you just stop the movie, please? So it doesn't go in the background. It's spoiler alert. Wait for it. Okay, thank you. Hi.
Hello. Yeah. Okay. So it's a bit emotional to talk right after seeing this short film, but it's a very intimate story, and it's about belonging in your body, and it's also about self-image, and it's playing with this self-portrait as well. And initially, when planning this, I was supposed to film Isak while he was gonna go get his top surgery, because there was gonna be a medical-based documentary for a website for healthcare providers. And so mostly when you see people getting a gender confirming surgery. It's based in these medical documentaries that is non-personal or showing nothing of the emotional journey or how trans people have to connect with time in a different way. And so when producing and thinking of the scenography and everything, one of the things I wanted to have as an element was how time is so different for trans people. So you see the scenography being the same with some elements that is different, like you have a binder in the beginning and in the end it's a trans flag and it's like plants and more of this calm connection, or there is some things that I wanted to have as symbolism for growth and these things, but Isak was placed in the same position before and after to show how it's like it's not when you get treatment that you are trans enough or that you become who you truly are. You always are. So sorry, now it's emotional, but I feel like usually after seeing a film like this, I would need 5 minutes to collect myself.
Take your time.
Thank you. Maybe you can ask me a question, then I can try to navigate a bit.
Yeah, I can do that. I mean, it's very interesting what you're saying, and it's so important to portray the time, the trans time, because it's usually from A to B, like this transition, and it's all of us, like all this that is happening in between is kind of as it never happens. Like, oh yeah, now I'm like all of a sudden something else, but all this pain and
Yeah.
suffering in
Yeah.
between is kind of not it's not portrayed. So I like the how you describe also these symbols in the film. But what I want to ask you is like how you said first intention was for these medical providers, but like how did it how long did it take to make it, and how was this specific process of making it you two together?
Oh, that's a question I can ask, like, and I can answer it in a long or a short way, and I think I have to do it short since we're gonna have to have time for your film as well. But I've been working with Isak in 71 Bodies project in first person, and then you get to be in this creative or artistic space with other trans people, and uh, you get to be more comfortable being um, uh, or yeah, we got to talk about how your relationship with your body is, and we had a lot of conversations before filming this was even I like planned or discussed. So there is a lot of conversations laying the ground bricks for this in before the idea even came up. But I knew that I wanted to with someone or myself, even like creating something that would show these emotions and this very intimate experience that you have instead of just this medical view, because yeah, it's important too. The hard things are often something that you have to keep in, because the main conversation that needs to be held is the systemic one, or yeah, we need to have human rights before we can talk about our pain. So when I knew that Isak was gonna be in this documentary and I was gonna do material, then it was a great opportunity to open a conversation with Isak about like, so I want to do this different kind of narrating, and luckily for me, Isak was positive about it, and I guess this how to set up the stage was a process with, okay, how can we tell this story? And so me doing a lot of painting or drawing, I have this Stoffeli, what is I should know the name.
Like
Yeah.
in Bosnian is Stafelaj.
Okay, so yeah. Okay,
Thing
so
you used to paint on.
so I used this and put in, instead of a canvas, there is a mirror, and you get to play with this instead of brush strokes. That is kind of like you're trying to create something that is beautiful, and then instead of a painting, you have this journey to belong to yourself, and the brush strokes become very clear and visible, new scars, and yeah. So there was a lot of planning ahead, and when we traveled and we got the material for the documentary, I decided to use just short seconds of that part. So like the focus is not when you're at the hospital for an hour and you leave. The focus is that you are a human and you have this experience. Your whole life is, yeah. You have to plan for a long time to go to the hospital, you know.
But I like this because I mean we often spend a lot of time in our like rooms where we live, where a lot of things happen behind closed doors that many people don't know about, like what's going on through our heads and stuff like that. So I like that you just put it like very shortly there, but the room like where kind of often is the safest space for trans people to so I like that part.
Yeah, it was all filmed at home, and it was I mean, lockdown was still very real, so that was also an element. But yeah, belonging to yourself and feeling at home in yourself is, yeah. Wanted to make this room, so yeah.
And also, I like the way you, like, Isaac was painting on himself, very gentle and emotional. And at least for me, when I went into the surgery, like this surgeon came and like, like was
Yeah.
like, yeah, we're gonna do this here, there. You're like basically like an object.
Yeah.
So I think that part is like, hey, I am deciding where my scars are going to be, and it's gonna be beautiful, and like, it's very emotional.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. And I think so as well. And it wouldn't have become anything if Isak didn't agree to do this. So thank you so much, Isak. And when he's telling this story at the end, that was an element that we decided along the way to be a letter to yourself, from your future self to your past, and it's also playing into this time frame. But yeah, owning the narrative of healthcare and like owning the journey was my inspiration.
But I mean, you said the first intention was to make it for medical professionals, like medical providers.
Well, more like a protest to how it's always clinical, documented. So
Yeah, but I mean, this is perfect material for medical professionals, actually,
yeah,
to get more sensibilized
that's true.
when treating us.
Yeah, that's very true.
So
I will take
put it out there.
I will take that comment to the future, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Isaac did the sounds, so we wanted to build towards the audience getting to know how dysphoria can be super terrible and scary, and you can kind of have this, like your pulse, you can feel it when you see it, and then it's kind of like soothing finally, and you can also hear Isaac finally breathing, you know?
That was a really good part.
Yeah. And so just getting the audience to feel on a very human um, level, and maybe creating also the space for empathy, not just, that must be very hard for you. Oh, that must be super hard for you to go and get the surgery. Wow, so clinical, and but yeah, just reminding the audience, or whoever needs to see it, that we are humans and we live long lives, and it's not just about the surgery or getting hormones. It's about your whole journey as a being. I think we need time for your film,
Okay.
don't we? Or
Time goes by so fast in these sofas. Okay, but thank you so much. It's I mean, this I just now thought like this film should definitely be obligatory for all medical professionals to see before starting to do anything with trans people. Actually,
yeah, that's a very good point. maybe that can happen. I don't know. I don't know who I need to talk to, but now the conversation is opened here at Trans Awareness Week. So if you have the chance to show this in the medical field, you're welcome to do so, I think.
we we're gonna bomb the Rikshospitalet, install there like the big screen, and then play it, force them to see it.
As a course in empathy, or yeah.
Yeah, I was just like.
Okay, well, thank you very much for the conversation. Now we will
you.
show Aleks Jelin-Gosto's film So Rude. And after this, we will be finishing for today.
No, you can't have your hair like that. You look like a boy. Why are you wearing boys' clothes? Put your legs together and sit properly like a girl. You can't play with us, you're a girl. We can't hang out with you anymore. You're making us girls uncomfortable. You're a tomboy. You're so ugly. If you only were a boy, I would have fallen in love with you. You should be ashamed of yourself. If you were a boy, you would be the cutest one. You can't be a boy. You're too beautiful. You are sick. If you are a boy, then can you feel the same what I feel when I'm having sex with a girl? You have woman's hands. Trust me, you're not a boy. How do you pee? Let me check what you have down there. Let's kick his fucking ass. How are you planning to become a boy anyway? That is just not possible. You are being illusional, but you are going to realize that when you are a little older. Oh, I'm sorry. I would have not hit you if I knew you were a girl. You are a freak show. Show us what you have down there. Look at this. They gave him a girl's name. Can you please give me a blowjob? I will pay you as much as you want. Please, please. You're just going through a phase. Ma'am, please step aside. We need to check you. Are you a boy or a girl? No, you can't be a boy. No, you can't be a girl. Look at here. This is a girl. Where is that gun? Let's kill this motherfucking faggot. This is a woman's toilet. You can't be here. What are you doing in a men's toilet? Do you want some? You need to try a dick, and then you will see you are just a woman. What do you have in your pants? Can I touch you? Let's break his legs. Let me give you a blowjob. Just a little bit, please, please. Show me your pussy. You can't be a man. You're just a lesbian. Accept that. If you say you're a boy, then act like one. What do you mean you're trans? You want to become a woman?
Oh my god, are you trans? Can I ask you a question?
No!
So rude.
Thank you very much. So everyone watching, thank you very much for watching. Thank you everyone for coming, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Luna.
Oh, we're going to talk again? My apologies. My fault. We are not finished. We are not
Someone
finished.
needs to sleep.
I repeat, we are not finished. We will now have another conversation about the film.
So ready to.
All right, so we're back. It was very nice to see your film, and one of my first thoughts, it's all these microaggressions, and then when people want to ask you questions, it's not just that one question, or even if you get misgendered, it's not just that one time. It happens so many times, and it's building up. And would you describe if this is correct, or if it's not?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, all the comments are from real life, obviously. It's a very like small part of what actually comments I did get in life, mostly in Bosnia, what happened. But yeah, I wanted like the intention with the movie, I mean with the film, was to first to for myself to make myself feel comfortable in uncomfortable, and to reclaim that gaze that was often kind of directed towards me in an oppressive way, which made me often and for a very long time go like not being able to look at other people, like because my body has been programmed to be afraid at all times because of this gaze. So, and actually behind the camera is the sun, so I wanted to make it kind of difficult to look at the camera, that I'm like, you can see I'm a little struggling with it, but I'm like, I'm gonna own it. This, I'm gonna take what's what's mine, kind of, and I'm gonna be okay with all that, because I know all those people who did these comments, they are the ones who are hurting, and I'm healing now. So so yeah, that was intention with the film, but also because most of my life I used humor to survive, basically, that and bunch of alcohol. But humor was something that I was pleasing mostly people, and also most of the time, so I would avoid dangerous situations with the humor. I would charm my way out of potential dangerous situations. And if I didn't do that, then I would often get beaten up or harassed, or yeah, a lot of violence. So I think also it's important to that when I'm staring at the camera with like reclaiming this gaze, I'm also making the situation very uncomfortable by these comments, and but looking back at the camera all the time, it's also like it's not no longer only mine, it's everyone's who is watching the film. I'm sharing it, and everyone should sit with that uncomfortable. And I do the little twist in the end, which gives me relief,
Mm.
but I think also the audience gets this relief a bit, and also to maybe to get to reflect on their own thoughts, or people who are not like cis people. Maybe it can be educational for them, like, oh shit, I should not ask some of those questions ever again.
Yeah, and absolutely it shows like everything you said, from how you look into the camera, struggling, but also like fighting through it. You can see it very clearly, and also all of these microaggressions building up, and then finally it's like you can switch the viewpoint of who is actually rude, and just you get that message on very clearly. So it's so good made. And how did you come up with the ending of it?
Oh, I don't know. Like I have these ideas that come in my head, and they're all like it just comes to my head, and the whole movie, the whole film, it just was in my head. So it was not like a process that took very long time thinking about it, but I was like, oh, I can do that, and then end it like that. Oh, amazing! And then I just kind of did it. The longer, like, it took longer time to get recorded, like the sounds, in a good way, kind of that it's not. That fits the film, and also to with the sun and the camera, and I was struggling with the background and all the. I mean, I'm total amateur. I know nothing about making movies or films,
I
movies.
mean, obviously you know something. You made this.
Yeah, but I like to explore, and then it's really nice. It's a kind of also therapeutic way, and a way of dealing with everything that happened to me.
Yeah.
In a way, like putting it out there, processing it in creative ways, I guess.
We both are in queer organizations, so I'm just thinking like maybe having this creative space to just get out all the frustration is really good. I think.
Definitely.
Yeah. um, but how did it feel for you to read up all of these comments?
Mm,
You said you wanted to reclaim it in a way. So how did you experience doing that, recording it?
I was very distant to it. I guess I learned a lot, like to numb myself to those kind of questions. Even though I'm not numb, there is a lot there that can be triggered. But I learned to be kind of distant to it. But the thing is, it's very interesting when I see it with others. It kind of like I start feeling uncomfortable,
Mm.
but I think that is because I somewhere in my mind I think other people around me feel uncomfortable, and that I'm again taking it on me. So it's also seeing it with others. It's also kind of a process in itself, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
Uh, b- but um, but I think it can be educational a lot and empowering. I hope, at least, for especially for young trans people, to if they see the film, maybe it can. I hope it can kind of empower them in a way that they're like, oh shit, I've been explaining myself all this time. I don't need to do that. Like, I don't need to explain my existence. It's not rude because we often think like, oh, we're gonna hurt others if it's so rude. We want to be polite.
Yeah.
So I think, I hope at least it can be empowering in that way.
Yes, absolutely. Uh, yeah, I think so, and I don't know what the audience will think, but I assume for all the audience that it is educational and empowering, and yeah, it's really good for, I think, young trans people to see it, or just trans people that are early out in their uh, process of dealing with society or all these questions. It's good to have this shift in the power, in a way, of the situation, and also having someone word out all of the things that a trans person can be met with society, all in one 3-minute film. Then you can understand more of how it's not okay to just go up to a trans person and ask all these intimate questions or very direct question about their lives that you wouldn't do with a cis person.
And I don't know, I kind of learned after I did that for a very long time, like 30 years of my life, I think. But I learned now to, when I answer certain questions still can be problematic, but it depends from who they're coming from. If another trans person is asking about something that they are like, they don't, maybe they don't understand that it can be hurtful, but I know where it's coming from, so it will not hurt me. But from I don't tolerate anymore for cis people, sorry. Yeah, and also it's, we choose what to answer and what not to answer, and what to use energy or not.
Yes.
So that's very important. I learned, it took me such a long time to learn that, but I hope that maybe with a film and conversations like this, to someone it can be maybe shortened at that time.
Yeah, and people learn in different ways and different mediums of getting a point across about trans existence is so important. So thank you so much for creating the film, and also would love for people to show it in school, actually, because that will be a very, very directly to the point way of dealing with how you are supposed to, oh, with how you are supposed to be a decent human being.
Actually, I was thinking about that, like, because I do travel around schools and holding workshops, and I think it would be amazing because mostly what questions we get is about trans this, trans that. Frankie knows, he's with me on these journeys. So it's mostly about trans. So I think that would, I don't know if I would be so comfortable me showing it, but I would be comfortable that some other people are showing it, teachers or others who work in school showing it.
And if you go to that school to talk, then maybe the teachers showing this film in some days before you arrive would be like a teaser to what is going to happen. So that could work out really well, I think.
Yeah, that could work. But you know, like being me in a room and holding a workshop and all of a sudden showing that part, I don't know how the dynamics would be, because for me it's very important to get from them as much as possible material,
So maybe in the aftermath.
raw material in aftermath. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good point. You want them to keep the attention and
So they don't
respect
get
you.
scared and then they actually ask questions.
Yeah.
My intention with workshops is I give them space anonymously to put their, like, whatever is in their minds in order to work on it together.
Debunk, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. No, it's very important what you do, going to schools and giving lectures and all this, but also like artistically, It's very good what you do. So if you could intertwine it in some way, or someone else showing it at schools, it would probably be very good. Yeah.
I'm gonna sell it to schools.
Yeah, do it.
Then I'm gonna use all the money to support trans community.
Amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, if do you have any more questions? And by the way, like this conversation, we didn't even see each other. Nothing. We were just set on the program, and
Yeah.
this is all improvisation. By the way, just so you know. So I think we're pretty good in
Yeah, I think
improvising.
we did a good job. Also,
So, yeah.
when you do a lot of activism and you travel a lot, it's a few times we get to see each other. So often it is when when we do things like this. So it's nice to catch up on camera as well.
Exactly. Finally, we found some time.
Yeah.
You're both excellent on camera and off camera. And I want to thank you both very much. Thank you very much for showing your films today. We're very lucky. And thank you for talking about it with us in such an intimate way. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much. A big applause, everyone.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.